Hey folks, Mr. Deason here with our video 2 of the stream table activity. So I want to see, you guys should have gotten your materials set up. You need your stream table. That could be a piece of wood, that could be anything that can be tilted. I'm using this right here, we mentioned that. You need your sediment set up right here. So you notice how I've got it in a pile like that. If you're using the plate and you're using the sink, then you need to have the flour and the plate set up something like that, okay? And we'll do the flour and the plate first. You need to have water. You need to have a water source. I've got some in here for the flour, and I have a larger container for the stream table. And you need to have a place that's clean, cleanable, okay? A place that you can work with. Ask your family first. You don't want to do, something like this in the living room because it's going to make a mess. So will the flour. But you want to make sure that you have everything set up, ready to go. So let's find out what happens here. Number one, you take your water, you get your, now that I think about it, I gotta have this out of the way. You take your table, you set it up at an angle, and you want to go slowly. If I dump this all at once, it's going to wash the whole thing away quickly. So we want to see what happens. I'm going to start with a little bit of water here and just slowly dumping in. Notice how with the flour, you got to be careful. I'm doing a trickle here. Just a trickle. So I'm holding it up on the top, trying to keep it in one spot. Okay? So we're going to analyze that in just a second. So we've got that with the flour. We can see that some changes have happened, and we'll talk about what those changes are in just a second. We'll set this one off to the side. Bring our other one up here, and now we're using the sediment. So this is actual sediment that I got from the Mad River. Remember, we're looking for the changes. So same basic technique, same basic procedure. I'm putting the water up here at the top, and I'm pouring slowly. Probably a better idea to do it in one place instead of moving it all around. And now we take a look at it. I'm going to bring it up closer here. So now our detailed observation comes in. As you can see, we have some changes, okay? We have a pretty serious channel right there. Pretty serious channel. We have it is wider down here. Remember, these are some of the vocabulary words you have to use. It is wider down here. And this thing that we have now, notice that was a pile, and now it's this kind of a spread out situation. That's called a delta. If you take a look at that, the Mad River has that. You notice if you ever go to the area down at the Mad River, you'll notice that there's that delta. There's that place out on the sand at the beach where it just kind of opens up, and there's all the seals there. You notice that the sand, some of the sand is down there. It's in streaks. We also see the biggest thing that we see that's different here is we have quite the canyon there. We have the Grand Canyon of Mr. Deason's backyard here. Right in here we have a rock perched on the edge of a cliff. We've made a cliff, and we see that there is a hole there. We see that some of the larger rocks are strewn through here. We have a secondary channel over this way. You can see there's some streaks. We have a widening at the base. Looks like the pile has diminished in size, so it used to be kind of pointy. Now it's kind of a little bit flattened. We have some flattening over on this side and flattening over on this side. Okay, so now we know what we have. So we're going to record those things. I recommend that while you're recording, you can do that. Just pause the video, and then you can make your observations and record those as you go. Okay, and now let's take a look at the flower and see if we have more or less the same thing. So it looks like with the flower, we have a flattening right in there. We definitely have the channels right down here. We have a little bit of a delta, a little less of that. It seemed to flow away a little more, but we definitely have our channels. We definitely have those channels and the canyons that happened right in here. Okay, so right in there we've got those canyons and channels, and even back in here kind of took away that soil. So we can see channels, canyons, a widening on the bottom, and a creation of a delta. And we have these stripes, kind of. It seems like both of these situations had that bottom part where you had sand in one place and not in another. And you can see that down here. So the comparison of the two, you've got those strips right there, and you kind of have it right here too. Okay? So that's what we see. So now we know what water does when it is on a landscape, when it is on a sediment. Now, can you find those same things on the surface of Mars? If you can make a reasonable assumption that there could have been water on Mars. We know that this happens on Earth. We see the canyons. We have a Mad River Canyon there, goes all the way up to Ruth Lake. We see that these areas have been carved out. We know that happens on Earth. We've seen it in our tray table. And now, do you see structures that look like that on Mars? That's the question. If you do, you might be able to say there could have been water on Mars. If there is water on Mars, could there be life? That's the real question. All right. Have fun with this.